Okay, Jen, will you get us started with the invocation, please?
Yes. Let's pray. Gracious Lord, we give you thanks for this day. And we give you thanks that you give us so many opportunities to serve in so many different ways and places. And so help us this day to celebrate service through the Peace Corps and to hear how you are using the lives of these volunteers. And Lord, help us also to just look for opportunities and to follow up on them where you give us to serve through Rotary and the rest of our lives. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Brenda, let me get the flag up, and if you will lead us in the pledge.
Dear Dawn.
Dawn, I'm sorry, you did it last week. Let's let Dawn have a try.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Brooke, if you will please get us started with the Rotary song.
R-O-T-A-R-Y, spelled Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y is known on land and sea. From north to south, from east to west, one profits most, who serves the best. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary.
I love how you substitute he for one.
So I tried to fix it today. I tried to say one.
Oh, you did. It was great.
I was on, I'm gonna fix it this time. I'm not gonna jack it up.
Okay, with that being said, I wanted to talk to you all really quickly about makeup meetings. I sent out a notice that showed you how to use the links on our website to access the YouTube meetings, and how to go into Google Forms to use the 4-way test, apply it, and show up your makeup meetings. And Brenda will be going on there. We'll be checking regularly and updating our attendance records. Did anybody have any questions about that, or did anybody want me to walk you through the process, or is it pretty self-explanatory? Put up your hand if you want me to walk you through it. Okay, everybody seems like they have a good understanding. Okay, so we'll continue to put up all of our meetings onto YouTube, just in case you're unable to make it, and we'd appreciate it if you would follow those and watch them, because it takes up a lot of bandwidth to get them up there in the cloud. So okay, Justin, do you have any district updates or announcements for us in regards to any events or things anybody can register for?
Yeah, I sure do. And so let me see if I'm going to do this correctly and share. And so you now tell me, oops, there, nope. Do you see the website? Did I do that correctly? Okay. And so in the month of May, that is our entire district conference month. And so these dates have actually changed a little bit. And so the first Saturday is still going to be the district 4-way test speech contest. That is this Saturday. The way we're going to handle that is the contest is going to be over Zoom, similar to how our club contest was. But at the district level, for everybody else, the parents and counselors and principals and the rest of the Rotarians in the district and really wherever, we're going to live stream that over YouTube Live. And that way you're not logging into a Zoom meeting. And that's 2 reasons. One, for security purposes on our side for the district, it would be a lot of people to manage. And so it's security. And 2 is if every Rotarian in the district and every participant and every student and their family and principals, if everybody logged in, we would run out of room with our plan. But if we just broadcast it out to YouTube Live, then anybody can watch it anytime that they want to. And so look for information in emails from us information will be also posted on our club website, the district website, the district Facebook page. And so we will let you know how to log into YouTube Live in order to watch the four-way test speech contest this Saturday. The following Saturday, May 9, right now it's listed as a business meeting. That's actually changed. And so things like council on legislation and some of the other things that we were going to be doing, we've actually moved that. All that's going to be done via email. And so May 9 is going to be a little bit more of a conference-y kind of day where we're going to try and have a guest speaker, and we're going to do a Kahoot strategic planning session. And so pretty neat stuff. We will be trying to get input from as many Rotarians as possible. We will probably need to up our license at the district level to maybe 300 or 500. Not that we're going to necessarily get that many folks in, but we want as much input as possible. And for those of you that haven't used a Kahoot before, Brooke, it's similar to what you were talking about on your little game earlier, where basically a question goes up on the screen, and then from your phone or from your computer, you answer in real time, A, B, C, or D. And so that we can get input from lots of folks in real time. You know, it might be, what do you enjoy most about Rotary? Or what do you enjoy least about Rotary? Or why do you think people leave Rotary? Things like that we really need to know in order to grow ourselves and grow as an organization. And so that's going to be May 9th. That's the second Saturday. The third Saturday is still the storytelling part of the conference. And so this is where we have individual Rotarians come up, and they will tell us their Rotary story, either live over Zoom or a pre-recorded session that's posted up on YouTube, something like that. So we'll have individual stories. We'll also have club stories. And so, you know, I would like to get something together for our club of the things that we've done over the Rotary year and how we as a club interact and all that kind of thing. And then, so it's the storytelling part. And so that's going to be the third Saturday in May. And so the May 30 right there, that's listed as the strategic planning Kahoot, we'll actually get rid of that. So that's the district conference stuff coming up in May. We also have Rotary Leadership Institute online. We're in the middle of a session 1 right now. JD and I have a session tomorrow that we're facilitating. And then we have a new set coming, a new session of 4 coming up in May. Going from May to June. And last time I looked, there was still a little bit of space for registration. So if you're interested in going through Rotary Leadership Institute training, there might still be room available for that. Let's see, have I forgotten anything that I shouldn't have? Any questions on any of those things? All right, thank you very much.
I'd like to note that for those of you who are like me and have lost track of time, May is only a few days away. So keep that in mind. That's right around the corner. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about that relates to our club and the district level is they have just put out an email to us letting us know they have earmarked some funds for COVID grants or projects that we might be considering, and each club has been allotted a certain amount, and it'll be first come first serve. I think it's like a $500 grant, and we're going to be talking about this at our upcoming board meeting, which is the first Monday in May. So if anybody has an idea that they would like to present to our board, let us know, and we'll make sure that you have all of the Zoom login information so you can participate in that meeting, and we can present that district grant proposal. Do I have any questions about that? Okay. All right. Before we get our presenters on here, I would like to take a second to do our Paul Harris weekly drawing, our weekly drawing winners for the quarterly. And Brenda is keeping track of those. So let me share our screen and let's get our first name. Very close. Right, Justin. And our second is Miranda Martinez.
I love this wheel. It is so cool.
It definitely seems a lot more fun than us pulling a name out before y'all get to the meeting. Okay. Do I have any happy dollar announcements before we break off into our speaker session? Just raise your hand or unmute yourself if you have any. It's not a lot of happiness going around out there. Anybody can, there we go, JD.
Ruth, yes, we are. I think it's this Thursday. We are feeding. We are week to feed the COVID volunteers at the testing site. So I'll try to get the officers on duty to send me some pictures.
Yes.
Is that from Cherry Tree?
Yeah, I coordinated that this morning. Well, I sent her an email last week, but I confirmed us this morning. We'll be providing for 15 individuals out at the testing site. And they're going to be providing them desserts and drinks and lunch. So it should all go without a hitch. And then we are going to be following up with them the next week to see if we can schedule 2 more lunches for other groups that we should be honoring for their time and service to our community. Janine Reyes has been working really closely with me on that. We've had a proposal for the Public Works group of guys and gals that are out there making sure that our trash is still being picked up and our water is still running. So that might be one that we consider. If anybody has another one that they would like to propose, let a board member know. Justin?
Is that something that we can use the $500 district grant to fund for more of those?
Well, since we've already collected these funds from the members and it's already been earmarked for that, we would like to just come up with a new project to pull in those additional funds. One suggestion that I had from a club member was from Gary. He manages the student apartments there at Legends, I believe it is. They were trying to do some mini care packages for the students that are there, still there. They haven't gone home, and they might be struggling because they're not getting their either they're not working, they're not doing their student jobs. You know, they have a lot of things that might be preventing them from being able to get the necessities they need. So that was one I was considering, but I'm open to anybody who has a suggestion. All right. Well, having said that, I will give the floor to Jadine so he can introduce our guest speakers.
Thanks, Ruth. I'm expecting a big groan once I say this. I didn't know if anybody knew this, but I used to be a Peace Corps volunteer. Have I told anybody that before? Justin, if you don't mind unmuting Miriam and Diana's screens. Let me introduce you to Diana and Miriam. March 15th, because of the COVID precautions, you know, Peace Corps volunteers for almost 50 years have been exposed to all kinds of different, you know, maladies, ebola, polio, tuberculosis. We had bird flu and SARS during my time, and never, ever have we made a mass evacuation like we did March 15th. 7,200 volunteers from around the world and all the logistics that takes were recalled home. And I'd like to introduce you to Miriam and Diana, who were part of that recall home right in the middle of their projects. And let me start. Diana, will you please introduce yourself and tell us where you were stationed?
My name is Diana Doria, but everybody calls me Dee Dee. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Everybody calls me Dee Dee, and you're wondering, why does she have a hat on during a Zoom meeting? Well, this is what I wore. I was assigned to the Dominican Republic in a small farming community. And so, of course, the hat was for the sun. And it was also a marketing tool, because then everybody would know me, the lady from the Peace Corps with the hat, or as I was known in the community as Doña Didi. So that's why the hat.
Fantastic. And Miriam, will you please introduce yourself and tell us where you were stationed?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. My name is Miriam Kerfi, and I was serving in the Republic of Georgia. I don't have a hat, but I'm wearing my Peace Corps Georgia t-shirt.
Fantastic. Well, for our members, as we go through and speak to Diana and Miriam, if you would, just in your chat box, just feed me any questions as we go through, and I'd be happy to ask them of these guys. And so, Miriam, while I got you on the screen, tell us what got you interested in the Peace Corps, and what was your job there in Georgia?
Okay. So I have had a relationship with Peace Corps from when I was very young, but I didn't realize it until later when it became more, I guess, appropriate for me to understand what that meant. So I was looking at what to do next after graduating from college. I graduated December 2018, and I wanted to do something meaningful. I wanted to travel. I wanted to learn new languages, and Peace Corps just came up as, I was honestly putting my eggs in different baskets, but Peace Corps was the answer that I got back the fastest, and it seemed like the right choice for me. And then as I was talking about preparing and applying, I'm actually a dual citizen. I'm American Tunisian, so I was born and raised in Tunisia. And we had many friends actually who had been Peace Corps volunteers in Tunisia and had married and settled down there. So that's like a connection I didn't realize I had since I was young. And yeah, so I was interested once I found out, did my research. I connected with a recruiter who helped me a lot, and I chose actually I had the chance to choose the country itself, let alone the region, and I chose Georgia specifically because I had studied Russian language and culture in college, and that kind of opened up that whole world to me. And so after talking with my professors and telling them there's an opportunity in Georgia, and it just worked out for me graduating, I'd have some time and then be able to leave. So that's why I chose Georgia. And then I was teaching English and doing youth leadership development. And yeah, I had done some volunteering at my mom's school, tutoring in college for French though. So I come from a family of teachers. So for me, that was something that I wanted to explore a bit more. I love learning, and I love sharing what I know and making that kind of a smooth and just a cool process of discovery. I love connecting with people in that way. So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity for me to learn and grow and also share what I have.
Well, Miriam, let me ask you this. So how long is the training? Once you become a Peace Corps volunteer, how long do they train you?
So for me, we had 3 months of training. We had one orientation week, and one of the photos is from that. We just have 1 week where we're being processed, we're doing interviews, they're evaluating us, giving us just brief information about everything to do with the program. We're doing some lessons in Georgian. But then we get, so our cohort was actually relatively small, like I guess not really historically, but like recently
and when you say cohort, you mean like the team that actually you went with?
Yes, so they call us like G1, G2, and ours was G19 coming in 2019. And so our cohort was relatively small, and we were then further divided into clusters and assigned to different villages around a hub town. And that's where we each, so in groups of like 5 to 7, that's where we did our further training, where we all lived with host families. We had our morning language classes, we'd have lunch, and then we'd do technical training all together in the hub city. And so it'd be back and forth each day.
Okay, and I how long was that total?
Oh, sorry, 3 months.
3 months. And you already knew a little bit of Russian, which I imagine is akin to Georgian, or maybe mostly Georgians speak that. How does that work?
So times have changed. There is that legacy, obviously. I mean, as an ex-Soviet state, a lot of the older generations will speak Russian, but Georgia as a country is really, really diverse. And so the official language is Georgian, Kartuli Ena in Georgian. And that is what Peace Corps volunteers are taught for 3 months. And it's really such a beautiful language. It's, for me, pretty straightforward. You read what the letters tell you to. It's a very beautiful language, and that's what we were trained on. And but because Georgia is so diverse, there are two kind of main ethnic minorities, Azeris and Armenians. And so being a Peace Corps volunteer, we serve those, or we're put in underserved communities to bridge the gap between the those like cities with more opportunities. And so I had the privilege, actually, and these are my students on the screen, my first summer camp at site. I was actually placed in an ethnic minority community of Armenians. And so,
Now,
yeah.
Oh, I was going to ask, as far as ethnic minorities, you know, Eastern Europe and kind of that area going south, did you have any Roma populations? In America, you probably know them as gypsies, but the Roma population?
I did not see any.
Okay.
My community was like 99% Armenian.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so
yeah,
tell us what's going on in this picture on our screen here.
So this time, it really is a special, it'll hold a special place in my heart as our first like inaugural project at site. So we have 3 months of training. At the end, I kind of knew where I was going because my cluster was the cluster of Russian speakers, and we're kind of prepped for these minority sites because minority sites historically will have, that's where I actually used my Russian in the end, is because Armenians, I mean, it's like the second language, Armenian, Russian, and I honestly didn't use my Georgian a lot at site. That was a bit of a challenge for me. But what's going on here is, as an inaugural project, we had to do a summer camp with our students or other community. I had 4 schools at my site. It was a small town. And so I was assigned primarily to an Armenian school. There were 2. And so this was my 4-day summer camp. Peace Corps provided us with a lot of materials, and I had another PCV introduced me to this, it's like a life skills packet full of resources and activities, and that's the theme of this summer camp. I wanted the students to be introduced to kind of topics and skills that are not traditionally, especially in this, you know, in my school, these topics aren't talked about, like leadership, teamwork, learning about how to be more self-aware, how to set goals. So I dedicated this 4-day camp to learning about these specific life skills through activities in like a non-formal education way. And it's funny because at the beginning, the students were a bit hesitant. They thought, you know, they were going to kind of sit down, do some grammar lessons. They were not freaked out, but just they had never kind of done this in a fun way where they're using English, but learning about very, very important skills that are applicable to all of us. And
I bet that was a change for them.
Yes, it was.
Miriam,
but they liked it. Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I lay some groundwork on what life was like for you and Diana, and then we're going to talk about when it all just kind of came apart. And so as we switch over to Diana, let me ask you, how much were you paid as a volunteer?
Right. So I had, let me see. I had about, we were paid in lari, Georgian lari, because my stipend was, half of it went to my host family, and then I kept the rest of it. And then obviously if we had like committee meetings, I was a part of different committees, that would be reimbursed. But it was about, let's see, not with the exchange rate now, but I'm trying to, it's like 350. Lari to USD. In dollars, let's say,
And our members are just looking for a rough
150.
idea.
I guess like really max $200 per month.
And was that kind of normal for the rest of your neighbors?
Yeah, I mean, at first, in my village, I lived with a family that was, you know, had a bit more, was a bit needier, I guess. And then in my town, my host family was, you know, not super well off, but like, yeah, it was kind of the same level. I mean,
Well, then, Miriam, hang on a second. Let's check it. Thank you for that. Let's check in on Diana and let's get caught up with her.
sure.
And then I'm going to have you both kind of talk about, you know, what happened when you got the word that all your hard work was now kind of coming to an end unexpectedly. Diana, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing as well as can be expected under these conditions. Because I'm
Will
a
you tell
people
him
person.
you're not shy about your age? Will you let everybody know? And as a Peace Corps volunteer, you really can't be shy about much because people are poking and prodding and asking. Tell everybody how old you are and how you got into Peace Corps and how it came about for you.
Well, I'm 75 years old, and the normal Peace Corps volunteers like Miriam, right out of college, 22, 23. The oldest besides me was 32 in our, what we call the cohort, our team that started together. So yes, I was much, much older, but by the same token, much, much wiser.
What did you do before? What was, you were with IBM for how long?
44 years.
And what did you do for them?
In my career, well, various things. My last job was customer relationship management. So dealing with customers and issues and thinking outside of the box. And because of my career, I lived all over the country. I lived in 5 or 6 different cities. So my family was used to me being gone. And of course, all my children are grown and now have grown grandchildren. So I get 2 questions. 1, why at age 75? And 2, how did your family react? Because of course they're going to be very protective of an old lady of 75. So the first thing is, it was just by chance. I had finished with IBM and was working a part-time job just to be around people, and had a chance meeting with a older gentleman who turned out to be a retired university professor of computer sciences. And he was on his way back to the Ukraine on his second Peace Corps assignment. And of course, me, mouth, I said, well, excuse me, sir, but can I ask how old you are? And he said, I'm 70. And I said, well, isn't that a little old for the Peace Corps? And I said, because I'm going to be 75 and that's too old. And he said, nope, there is no age limit in the Peace Corps. And in fact, his English teacher that was teaching the students English was 84. So I went, oh, okay. So I looked into it. I had never, everybody said, well, was that on your bucket list? And no, I had never even thought of doing the Peace Corps. I knew what Peace Corps was, but never thought about it. So I looked into it, and then I said, you know, I have certain skills. The good Lord has blessed me with perfect health on all the questionnaires of no, 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 no. So why am I so blessed? Well, to be able to give to others, I think, and the Peace Corps was the answer. And they were a little surprised, all of my cohort. They go, yeah, we heard a 75-year-old was coming in, but yeah, we didn't really believe it.
How were you received in the village at your age?
Well, the Peace Corps now, before, I think, Jadine, when you went, you submitted your application and then you were told where you were going to go to use your skills. And now you choose where you want to go. And I wanted to use my bilingual skills. So I looked at what was available, because I told the gentleman, I said, look, I'm not a certified teacher. I'm not a civil engineer. I'm not a CPA, and all of those jobs are what the Peace Corps uses and needs. And he looked at me and he said, no, but you do have something that a lot of the volunteers currently do not have, and that's life experiences. And that's what the people need, is life experiences. So I went ahead and applied, and I applied for the Dominican Republic. So I was assigned to the Dominican Republic my final assignment was I went through the 3 months training and went to a village, and then my assignment was in Sabana al Medio, which is a village of about 1,400 people. And the main industry is agriculture. And you saw a picture of our morning rush hour traffic.
Let's look at it. Is that it right there?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And what they're doing is they're taking the cattle from what they call a finca. It's a pasture from one mountain. Then they take it through the town and go to the finca on the other mountain. So that's our morning rush hour traffic. But you have to be careful not to be out. I was behind a gated porch, but you have to be careful not to be out because the cattle get excited and they see you and they'll go after you.
Running of the bulls right there in town.
Exactly.
Diana, tell us, there's a picture in here of a bunch of students. There we are right there. Tell us what's going on here.
What my assignment was, there's different categories, and I was in what's called youth and community development. So I worked with the youth in the community, and so I worked at the school. In our community, we had only one school. This school had no cafeteria, had no playground, had no library, had no clinic, no nurse, and how they were doing the things they were doing in that school is beyond me. It was just amazing. But that was our student day. So we would have days that I would help put together or participate in. And this was recognizing all the honor students for that day. And so I just took that picture. But yeah, I'm real proud of all of the kids because it went from first grade to secundaria, which is high school.
Diana, how much as a volunteer, let me ask you this, how much did you get paid?
I got a little, it depends on the country and where you are. So mine was about $350 a month, but understand also they paid for our housing. We all have to live with a family. And that's one of the challenges, is to find a family that will take someone in, because there are rules. They have to give us 3 meals. We have to have a private bedroom. We have to, I think that's about it. Yeah.
What comes out of that 300?
Well, they pay the rent. So rent is taken care of. So out of the 300, it's 350, it's personal items that I may need, transportation, because the town that I lived in, there was not even a supermarket or a bank or anything like that. So I would have to take a Wawa, and I think there's a picture in there of a Wawa, which is a little bus, a little van in the countryside. No, did I not?
I might have missed it.
Okay. Anyway, so you take the Wawa and you have to pay for that transportation, and I would have to take the Wawa to go into town to buy groceries that I wanted, and other than what the family gave me, and do the banking and any other thing. And like with my computer, I had taken my computer and it fried, the hard disk went, and so my computer is still in the Dominican Republic. I had to take it in. There's a young man that fixes computers, and that's where it's at right now in Bayou.
Let's talk about that, because you had to leave that computer behind. And so yes. How long, let's go ahead and go into that real fast. How long were you in country, and how did you get word that now it's time to go?
Oh, that was the fun part. I was in country 7 months, And Sunday afternoon, I get an email that we are being evacuated. Of course, COVID, some of the pictures in here will show Peace Corps works with MINERD, which is the Ministry of Education for the Dominican Republic. They put out this fabulous notice on coronavirus. And so as soon as I got this, we went ahead and put a presentation together for the students, and every student in that school got the education. Last time I talked to my host mom last Sunday, no one in that town has gotten the virus, thank God. So
how did you feel about leaving? I mean,
so anyway, so on Sunday afternoon, I get this email and that I have to report to the Capitol in Santo Domingo by 5 o'clock Monday afternoon. So it was like, okay. So I have to tell my host family that I'm leaving. I have to go pack. I have to get ready. And then I didn't even have time to really breathe. And because I had to catch the Wawa in the morning, early in the morning, so I could go to the next town to catch a larger Wawa to go to the Capitol. And in some cases, I was lucky. My community had Wawas like every 2 hours. The one girl in one of these pictures, she was on the other side, only one Wawa left out of her little town, and that was at 8 o'clock in the morning. If she missed that Wawa, good luck. So luckily she did make it, and we all made it to the Capitol in time. And that's our project. When I first got there, we talked about the first project. The town was littered with trash, bottles, plastic bottles, yada, yada. So my first project, and so we're cleaning up the town. So I had about 60 kids, and we did it in the afternoon with the principal and the teachers, and we cleaned up that whole town. It looked beautiful, by the way. And we got 50 bags of those big black bags of trash.
Diana, where are you at right now? Now that
I live in my kitchen. No. I live in San Antonio.
Well, let me go to Miriam. Miriam, so here you are. You've got your project going. How long were you in country before you got word?
I was in country for 11 months.
And so that's almost half your time. It's a 2-year stint, right?
Yep.
Right.
And how did you hear about now it's time to wrap it up and come home?
So nearing the end of, during spring break, I was in the Capitol. I had a visitor come. I was showing them around Georgia, and the government was sharing updates, and our security manager was also sharing updates with us. And so basically it started from, okay, we're gonna close school down for a bit till the end of April, and then finally I got my security manager updated or alerted us and said, okay, we're going to alert phase, which is the first of 4 phases of security. So I went back to site. I was constantly checking my messages, social media, news, and I started updating my go bag, my emergency go bag. And then we finally, after a couple of days, they told us that we are going to evacuate and to come straight to the Capitol, to not consolidate in each region and then go. So I, as fast as I could, packed everything up. I only had like 2 big suitcases, a carry-on and a backpack that they would allow. So I shed a lot of my stuff, probably a good third. But I gave books and clothes and food away to my colleagues, counterparts, and whoever, my host family. And
Where are you at right now, Miriam?
So I'm in San Antonio as well.
And Diana is at her daughter's home. Where are you at your parents' home? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm with my mom.
And guys, let me ask you this, because I've kind of gotten, I've been enamored by your stories. I'm getting the couple-minute warning. Let me ask. So now that Peace Corps has recalled you, and I'll open this to you and Diana, what are your goals? Miriam, are you going to go back if they open up your country, or are you just going to go ahead and find a job? What are you doing?
So for now, I do want to find a job. I'm also thinking about grad school. For me, it's kind of pushing my 2 years further and further, which I kind of want to move on. But if they do open up and have like a response, a volunteer, like a response service, which is like from 6 months to 9 months, I'd be really interested in doing that, where it's like more focused, more specialized, and temporary.
Because there is a chance that that maybe in about 6 months they might send you back. Diana, would you go?
No, and I've already discussed it with the country director, because I still have 18 months to go on my service. So if they don't open the country up until September, October of this year, which is what they're looking at right now, and then I still have to do 18 months, I'm going to be 78 by then.
So what?
Girl, it's pushing it a little bit. So no, I don't think I'm going back. I'm going to take some of that experience and work with some of the nonprofits here in San Antonio.
Well, Miriam, Diane, let me wrap it up here. Stay with us because we want to catch you with some questions offline. But this is the time we have for our recording. Thank you so much for sharing your stories, and good luck in everything you do. And thank you for being a part of Peace Corps. I'll turn it over to our president, Ruth, now. Thanks, Ruth.
Thank you, JD, and you did a wonderful job with the interview questions. And thank you to our guest for joining us today. We loved hearing about your experiences. At this time, I'm going to have us cite the 4-way test, but I will keep the recording open so that if anybody wants to stick around and ask our guest questions, you'll have the availability to do so. So if you will please join me in the 4-way test of the things we think, say or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you all for joining today. I hope that we continue to have these group meetings, and I hope that more of us show up. I would ask all of you to reach out to somebody that you haven't seen or heard from in a while, so that we can kind of get our group back together. Right now we're at, I think we're at 18 people today. We were at 19 or 22 last week. So it would be nice to get us all back on here and meeting together. So thank you all. If you have to go ahead and step out. And I'm going to go ahead and leave the meeting open. So if anybody has any additional questions, now is the time.
Well, I did have something to request.
Yes,
That even if you haven't thought about the Peace Corps before, that and you think, well, I'm 40 whatever, or I'm 50 whatever, maybe I'm too old, or I'm living proof that you're not too old. And yes, it is, they do ask a lot of you, but you wouldn't be where you were today had you not really worked hard to get to your goals. And if that can be one of your goals, it is a very, very rewarding experience.
So Diana or Miriam, did you have couples, like married couples, serve
Yes,
with you?
We did. I did. Yes.
Judge, Jan, Mark, it's not too late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had
Oh,
one
yeah.
couple in my cohort.
Yeah, we did. I did too. Yeah, and they served together.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody is freshly retired and they're thinking about, I don't know, what would you recommend?
I would recommend look at the Peace Corps website and look at what it has to offer. Read some of the stories of some of the experiences of some of the past volunteers. There is also, as you know, JD, the previous Peace Corps volunteers have a nonprofit organization like the one here in San Antonio that you belong to, and you can find out through them. Okay, what is reality? And living without running water or hot water or air conditioning. That's the reality. And how did you do it?
Do either one of y'all, have y'all had a chance to talk with any of your friends that are there in country?
Oh, yes. We have happy hours. Zoom happy hours with my cohort.
Miriam, have you had a chance to talk with your friends in the country in Georgia?
Do you mean the host country nationals or RPCs?
Yes, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
nationals, your family,
Yeah,
your host
for
family.
sure. Yeah, for sure. Not so much calls, but we just keep texting. It was my birthday yesterday, so I got a lot of happy birthday wishes from around the globe and from my host country national friends.
Oh, you should have told me that. We're a singing club. We love to sing happy birthday. We certainly
It's
would have
okay.
done happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy
Guys,
birthday.
Thank you.
Brooke or Renee, Jan, anything that we may not have hit on today?
No, I just thank our speakers for sharing with us. It's amazing to hear the stories.
Justin, you were going to ask something, I know. Unmute. You're muted, Justin.
I see there's one question. It says, are you able to continue your lessons with your students?
That's it.
For me, I was doing so many things that I just kind of dropped because I left. And so my counterparts, they are like all the teachers in my community are teaching online now, which is a first for everyone. I mean, there's like a 9-hour difference. So I keep in touch. I post things. I friended I let my students follow me on social media, and if ever they want to talk or have questions, I answer them. But in terms of like formal lessons, there's really not much I can do at this point.
And the same here. My community does not even have internet. The school doesn't have internet. And but I was able to talk to the principal of my school, and I lived with my host mom was a teacher at the school. And I talked to some of the other counterparts from the school before I left that evening, and we had already put into place future plans. And they all assured me that they would be working on the different ones. But it was I don't know about you, Miriam, but part of it is when we had to leave so suddenly, then, okay, all of this work that you've been gearing up to do and everything else is just like gone. So you go through, I think, a grieving process because there was a loss. There was a loss of the family that was like your family because you live with them 24/7. And the community.
And one of the things, that's talking about that, I'm sorry, but
no, it's fine.
Get a close of service. For those of us that got to finish, we spent a month with, kind of back and forth. At that time, it was letters and memorandum that we had to sign and read. And then we spent 4 days just kind of getting back into the groove and thinking about what are we going to do home. And we call that close of service.
Right.
What are you going to do when you get home? Things are going to be weird. We expect them to be weird. And now you're just home. You've been home for a month. Is it still weird to turn on the faucet? Is it still weird to go outside and you're not a local celebrity? I would come back and I'd go, hey, who wants to talk to me today? And no one did. So how does that readjustment?
Miriam, you want to take that one?
Sure. I wasn't necessarily, I was the local celebrity for some and kind of the alien for others, which is fine. I challenged a lot of people, challenged their beliefs. But for me, well, I lived in a town. We did have, lots of businesses, a bank that did get closed, but ATM was still there. So I was actually very surprised. I thought I'd be in a much more rural setting. That's what my training had prepared me for. And so it kind of got flipped. So I did have all those kind of advantages. I did have running water. There were some times where it didn't work, but in general, it was very different from what I had expected. For me, the biggest shock is I'm back in Texas And because where I was 2,000 meters above sea level on this plateau, and it was just snow, 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 nothing but snow. So now I'm back and it's hot, and I honestly, I kind of miss the snow. It grew on me. I've always loved winter, even though I've never experienced a winter like that. But yeah, it's hard because I had so many students and people that I did connect with, and like Diana said, so many, like that second year, that's when things just kind of click, and you can finally feel like, okay, you can breathe and things are going well, and you have that transition, and it's like I'll never know, but this wasn't my choice. So it's just hard, like, I don't know, but I'm a big believer in, I really had an intense moment. I gave it my all. I hope I left a really good positive impression, and I'm willing to stay connected with those people, and I definitely want to go back as a tourist or however, but that, like, Georgia is going to be a very special place for me.
Diana, how are you? Is it weird? You've had enough life experience. It may not be so shocking coming back. How do you feel?
Even though it was, I did have life experience, my personality is go, 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 go. Don't stop. Let's go. Let's go. So in the Dominican Republic, that is not their culture. So I had to adjust to their culture. And my mantra while I was there was, I'm a guest in their country. I'm a guest in their country. So I had to understand where they were coming from and fit my time schedule to their time schedule. So I learned a lot, amazingly enough, I learned a lot about myself and what I was able to do with that downtime. So when I came here and we were all under 14-day quarantine, self-quarantine, I didn't even see my family. We did a Zoom meeting so I could say, hey, y'all are still around. And, but I couldn't see anyone or do anything. And so, but the training I had learned in my time of service helped me be able to adapt to this new lifestyle at home.
Well, it's always weirder. I promise you, and you know this now. It's weirder coming home than it ever was going over there. And guys, thank y'all. Continue to talk to people. That's your third goal anyway. Is to share your stories. So thank you for doing it with us, and I appreciate y'all taking the time today.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Thanks for inviting us.
Guys, take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Bye.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.